So good afternoon, everybody, here and at home. It's nice to be with you in this intimate setting. I like your smiles, your heart smiles, warms up my own heart. I just wanted to start by saying that for those of you that didn't know, that when I saw Roshi Sesshin so sad because he thought there was nobody to carry on GMCC, I just jumped in without any previous thought, consideration, or anything, and said, I'll do it, just because I saw him so sad. That was the only reason. So I didn't give it any thought, consideration, pre-thinking, pre-consideration, nothing. And then after a few days, when the amount of my commitment had suddenly settled in my body, I thought, oh my God, how I'm gonna do this, because with taking care of the grounds and buildings of the Zen Center, or supervising that what needs to be done is done, to keep the grounds and the buildings in one piece, and the food preparation, and my sangha in Spain, and then talking to my Dharma siblings, Yugen and Tetsudo. They were so generous. They said, we'll help you. And then it seems that then it became possible that it's the three of us who's gonna carry GMCC, and we need to get a picture of the three of us. We don't have it yet. So in the next newsletter, it's gonna be just my picture, but that's only for 1 week. We are working on a composite. We are working on a composite of the three of us in the picture. And I remember Yugen saying, it takes a whole village to uphold a Zen center, and it's like that, it takes a whole village. And it is so wonderful that it's a whole village, it's just not one person. It's like we are doing this together, and it feels so wonderful and so expansive that we are doing this together. So I promised you that I'm just gonna keep my Zen of the Sacred Feminine for Sundays, one Sunday a month. But I also told you that I'm not gonna repress or suppress anything that is regarding this sacred feminine that has been so important for the birth of Zen practice, for the Mahayana vehicle practice. And the Mahayana is such a big movement in Buddhism that it not only affected the birth of Zen, but also Vajrayana, Tantric Buddhism. It also affected Taoism. It's incredible the repercussions of the Mahayana school of Buddhism. And after I published my book of the Zen Priestess and the Snake, and then I created a much expanded version in Spanish, which is called The Awakening of the Sacred Feminine in Spanish, so it was published this last March. Just after that book came out, I said, that's it, no more books for me. That's just too much time sitting down I just want to exercise, get strong. Maybe I can go back to painting. Then I wanted to read a book by Lex Hickson, that is one of Bernie's successor, and he was a multi-talented person that was not only a Zen master, he was also a Sufi master. He also was a renowned scholar and writer. And I wanted to read his book, Mother of the Buddhas, uh, Meditations on the Prajnaparamita Sutra. And I felt like, oh, that's gonna be my next path. Study this thoroughly. And I read in the introduction to that book that was written by Robert Thurman, that says the mother Prajnaparamita is crying out for a new interpretation of her sutra, and I took that to heart. It's really like, oh my God, she's crying out. She's crying out for a new. And then I was writing a letter to Roshi, which I continue my relationship with her in writing back and forth some emails, and I told her this got to my heart, that Robert Thurman says the mother is crying out for a new interpretation of the Prajnaparamita Sutras. And she replied, I want you to do it. And I said, okay, I'll promise I'll do it if it takes me many lifetimes. No pressure, no pressure. No pressure at all. I've always been attracted to the Prajnaparamita Sutras from the very beginning. From the very beginning that I heard the story of the Buddha receiving the sutras, and the Buddha having to hide these sutras because he thought that the world was not ready to receive them then. I mean, this is many centuries ago. He thought the world was not ready to receive these teachings, and he hid them in a mythical underworld where they rule, the Naga dragons rule in that world, and he gave the sutras to the king of the dragons, Nagas. And I didn't know why, like this is the power of things that you don't know why, but things affect you sometimes really deeply. And we don't need to know why. We don't need to know why. So I call my horse Naga. She's still alive. And we found this place because of her. Because my Naga found this place for us. And even trying to get out of this place, we couldn't get out of this place because of her. So she's a Naga. She's a Naga. So the Buddha predicted that 700 years later, a wise man will come that we could recognize because the beginning of his name will start with the syllables Naga. So that happened about 700 years later. We have an ancestor named Nagarjuna. That was an incredible man, with such abilities that we cannot conceive such spiritual abilities that he had, and he found the Prajnaparamita Sutras in an underwater cave protected by Nagas, and the Nagas gave the sutra to Nagarjuna, who brought them to the surface. And there are many versions of the Prajnaparamita Sutra, but the original version is the version of the 8,000 lines. And this is the version that Lex Hickson based his books, Mother of the Buddhas. Is the original sutra that the Buddha hid. Then there were later versions created by other people. There is a version of 100,000 lines, 25,000 lines. There's even a version that have one letter, and that letter is the letter A, the A, which is the letter of the mother Prajnaparamita. This original sutra, of 8,000 lines, emphasizes the feminine nature of Prajnaparamita. And believe me, this is very important. This is at the base of Mahayana. This is not a small thing. This is a big thing. And that had been like, we didn't know about it. I didn't know about it. I just found out about it. Why don't we know about this? That the heart of the Mahayana school of Buddhism is the mother Prajnaparamita, which is a she, because she has the womb of emptiness. From that womb, everything is created out of that womb. And the origin of Prajnaparamita is in the great mother of prehistoric times. So this not came out of nowhere. This is the great mother of prehistoric time. And thanks to our prehistoric people believe in the mother, because they actually were able to communicate with her. They learned to survive. We learned to survive as a human race because we were able to be in contact with this great mother that then in India has to be Prajnaparamita. And then the Mahayana school is born. But believe me, the Mahayana school is the school that's everybody's school, is everybody's school. This is the teaching of the mother. We are her children, and she doesn't leave anybody out. She wants everybody to be able to realize enlightenment, to be able to realize its nature. So it's the Mahayana, is the great vehicle, and this notion of the mother is so important in it. But it's a mother that is not just feminine, it's a mother that carries all energies within her, all energies, all genders, all races, everything is in her. There is nothing that is out of her. So, reading this book of Lex Hickson, Mother of the Buddha, based on the original 8,000 text of the Prajnaparamita Sutra, I found an incredible thing, just blew my mind. And I thought I was done with writing about the sacred feminine. And it's like, okay, well, this is opening a whole new road. And I had asked Todd to read it to you, and I also gave you a copy so you can follow. And then I'm gonna go going through each line. We're gonna review each line. Okay. He's gonna read it for me because his accent is so much better than mine.
Mystic hymn to the Wisdom Mother. Shariputra. This perfection of wisdom, O radiant Lord, is none other than the total awakeness, which is omniscience. Lord Buddha. So it is, noble Shariputra, precisely as you say. Shariputra. The perfection of wisdom shines forth as a sublime light, O Buddha nature. I sing this spontaneous hymn of light to praise Mother Prajnaparamita. She is worthy of infinite praise. She is utterly unstained because nothing in this insubstantial world can possibly stain her. She is an ever-flowing fountain of incomparable light, and from every conscious being on every plane, she removes the faintest trace of illusory darkness. She leads living beings into her clear light from the blindness and obscurity caused by moral and spiritual impurity, as well as by partial and distorted views of reality. In her alone can we find true refuge. Sublime and excellent are her revelations through all persons of wisdom. She inspires and guides us to seek the safety and certainty of the bright wings of enlightenment. She pours forth her nectar of healing light to those who have made themselves appear blind. She provides the illumination to which all fear and despair can be utterly renounced. She manifests the five mystic eyes of wisdom, the vision and penetration of each one more exalted than the last. She clearly and constantly points out the path of wisdom to every conscious being with the direct pointing that is her transmission and empowerment. She is an infinite eye of wisdom. She dissipates entirely the mental gloom of delusion. She does not manipulate any structures of relativity. Simply by shining spontaneously, she guides to the spiritual path whatever beings have wandered into dangerous, negative, self-centered ways. Mother Prajnaparamita is total awakeness. She never substantially creates any limited structure because she experiences none of the tendencies of living beings to grasp, project, or conceptualize. Neither does she substantially dismantle or destroy any limited structure, for she encounters no solid limits. She is the perfect wisdom which never comes into being and therefore never goes out of being. She is known as the Great Mother by those spiritually mature beings who dedicate their mind streams to the liberation and full enlightenment of all that lives. She is not marked by fundamental characteristics. This absence of characteristics is her transcendent mystic motherhood, the radiant blackness of her womb. She is the universal benefactress who presents as a sublime offering to truth the limitless jewel of all Buddha qualities, the miraculous gem which generates the 10 inconceivable powers of a Buddha to elevate living beings into consciousness of their innate Buddha nature. She can never be defeated in any way, on any level. She lovingly protects vulnerable, conscious beings who cannot protect themselves, gradually generating in them unshakable fearlessness and diamond confidence. She is the perfect antidote to the poisonous view which affirms the cycle of birth and death to be a substantial reality. She is the clear knowledge of the open and transparent mode of being shared by all relative structures and events. Her transcendent knowing never wanders. She is the perfect wisdom who gives birthless birth to all Buddhas. And through these sublimely awakened ones, it is the Mother Prajnaparamita alone who turns the wheel of true teaching. Lord Buddha, precisely so, beloved Shariputra.
This is big. This is big. This is big. Big, big, big. Anyway, let's go for it. O radiant Lord, Shariputra says to the Buddha, this perfection of wisdom, referring to Mother Prajnaparamita, is nothing other than total awakening, which is omniscience, which is omniscience. Total knowledge is omniscience. Mother Wisdom is omniscience. Mother Prajnaparamita is omniscience, total awakening. Our deepest nature is omniscient. This is our deepest nature. But the Buddha said, that's right, noble Shariputra, it's exactly as you say. This is incredible, because this is the Buddha talking to one of his most enlightened disciples, Shariputra. And then Shariputra is I just love these people so much. Like, we're becoming so much friends with Shariputra and Subhuti and all of those. I mean, this is our best friends, you'll see. Shariputra says, the perfection of wisdom shines forth us as a sublime light of Buddha nature. So, in other words, the perfection of wisdom is a sublime light, which is our own Buddha nature. Our own Buddha nature is a sublime light. And Shariputra is the one that is singing this hymn. He says, I sing this spontaneous hymn of light to praise Mother Prajnaparamita. I mean, it's just be wonderful if a woman say that. What that noble Shariputra is saying that. I mean, a man is saying that. And the Buddha is agreeing to this. And I'm very sure that this is why he had to hide this sutra, because the world was not ready to receive this sutra. And are we now ready? Are we ready now, or still not? And Shariputra says she's worthy of infinite praise. She's utterly unstained, because nothing in this unsubstantial world can possibly stain her. Neither light, emptiness, or sublime wisdom can ever be stained. She's an ever-flowing fountain of incomparable light. And from every conscious being, on every plane, she removes the faintest trace of illusory darkness. I didn't want to have the lights on because we are not able to see the natural light, and the natural light is just so beautiful. And this natural light is Prajnaparamita. This is the sublime light, and just see this light in this room, and you can breathe this light, and you can feel your body in with this light, and watch your body in and out with this incomparable light that is in this room already. She leads living beings into her clear light from the blindness and obscurity caused by moral and spiritual impurity, as well as by partial or distorted views of reality. This last trip that I went to Spain, I cannot tell you why or what happened to me, but I was in a almost like in a cell, and almost in prison. But there was this window, and the light from the window was so amazing, and I felt that I was receiving the light of Prajnaparamita through that window, and that window, filled me up with wonder and endurance and happiness that allow me to be able to surpass whatever difficulties I was going through. In her alone can we find true refuge. Even Carl Jung discovered that deep within all human beings, is the mother of all things. He calls her the mother of all things. We call her the mother of all Buddhas. It's the same thing. She is the mother of all things too. Jung also said that if human beings were in contact with this primordial root that already exists within us, our lives would be much better, which is also what I discovered. My life is much better when I am in contact with this mother of wisdom. My life is not good at all when I fall out of the path and I lose contact with her. I have fallen out of the path and I have entered the path again, and she has always welcomed me. She's not a revengeful mother. She's not a judgmental mother at all. The path is always open. We can fall out of the path and we can get in the path. Prajnaparamita is always there, here, open. Prajnaparamita is our true refuge. Sublime and excellent are her revelations through all persons of wisdom. She inspires and guides us to seek the safety and certainty of the bright wings of enlightenment. She pours forth her nectar of healing light to those who have made themselves appear blind. Mother Prajnaparamita is the original universal mother, the one who hears the cries of the world, and she's always ready to help. She's all abiding. She's everywhere, all the time. We can open our hearts to her because she never rejects anything or judges us for anything we tell her. She provides the illumination through which all fear and despair can be utterly renounced. And this is so true. This illumination is just pure love. Love without any hooks, conditions, or anything. No conditions at all. This love is so much stronger than fear and despair. When we know this love, we heal inside. We heal inside because growing up, sometimes we have to, some parts, some developmental steps on our growing up didn't receive this love, so they stay kind of behind. But when we receive this love, it's like all this part of ourselves that were left behind can grow and integrate into our central energy force. So we become one. All these energies that didn't receive that love, they can receive this love now. So we want more and more of this love. So it's so easy to renounce to all fear and despair. We don't even Think about it. What do you want? More of this love, or you all despair and fear? Not even a small consideration. We just want to fill up with more and more of this love so we can generate this love, so we can give this love to other people. And it's not that we have to make an effort to give this love to people, it's just that we are so filled up with love, it just comes out of us naturally. That's the beautiful thing. She manifests the 5 mystic eyes of wisdom, the vision and penetration of each one more exalted than the last. I researched this because I didn't know what were these 5 eyes, and I found out that the human eye is one, but the human eye sees with limitations. We see but limited. The divine eye can see in the distance and in the dark, and human beings can connect with this eye in deep states of meditation or when we are fully enlightened. The wisdom eye, that eye can see the empty nature of everything that exists. The Dharma eye can see all the dharmas in the world and beyond the world. And I translated the word dharma in this context as universal law. So can see the universal law in this world and beyond this world. And then the Buddha eye, which is the eye of omniscience. And in this eye can see what the 4 previous eyes can see. This Prajnaparamita eye. She clearly and constantly points out the path of wisdom to every conscious being with the direct pointing that is her transmission and empowerment. We can receive transmissions and empowerments directly from Prajnaparamita. She's an infinite eye of wisdom. She dissipates entirely the mental gloom of delusion. When I travel and I go to Madrid, mostly to Madrid, people are so sad. People are so sad. I just see such a sadness. It's just so people live in big, deep depression. And this practice of Prajnaparamita really releases all depression. What does it say here? The mental gloom of delusion. She releases the mental gloom of delusion. This is all Shariputra talking. She does not manipulate any structures of relativity. Simply by shining spontaneously, she guides to the spiritual path whatever beings have wandered into dangerous, negative, self-centered ways. Yeah, when I was in that cell in 4 walls, with a little window with beautiful light coming in, I transformed myself just from the light that was coming through the window. I understood what it means that she doesn't manipulate any structures of relativity. She didn't have to change the environment in which I was. Nothing was changed. I was changed by receiving that light. I was changed. And it also helped me that I was reading in the Prajnaparamita Sutra that in one section I read that the great enlightened masters had such a deep love for Prajnaparamita. And we're talking about Shariputra, Subhuti, Ananda, Chakra, and many other super enlightened disciples of the Buddha, that their love for Prajnaparamita was so deep that this love will not be broken even if they spend many lives in captivity and torture. Imagine the depth of this love, the depth of this faith. I mean, no separation between faith and love for this great mother. And then Shariputra continued, Mother Prajnaparamita is total awakening. When I do her practice, she teaches me what my next step is on the path to awakening. I have to clarify that awakening for me means total union with Prajnaparamita. And in order to continue in her path, I have to enter into places that, if it was not for the love I feel for this mother of wisdom, perhaps I would not take the next step. Sometimes I have to go into my own dark places and let the light shine into those places. She really shows me those places, and my experience is that she is there with me when I enter those dark places, that I'm not alone. And Shariputra continues, she never substantially creates any limited structure because my English is so bad, sorry. She never substantially creates any limited structure because she experiences none of the tendencies of living beings to grasp, project, or conceptualize. Neither does she substantially dismantle or destroy any limited structure, for she encounters no solid limits. I think that's clear what it says there. The light of her wisdom can reach us even if we are in a dark cell where sunlight cannot enter. The clear light of wisdom love that Prajnaparamita is can shine everywhere. She does not encounter any limited structure because she does not cling, project, or conceptualize. She is beyond conceptualization. Beyond conceptualization is the entire universe as an experience, not as a concept. She is perfect wisdom, which never comes into being and therefore never goes out of being. What does that mean? That she never comes into being and therefore never goes out of being. Means that she's always there, beyond life and death. She's always there. beyond life and death. And this is the path that she teaches to us, a path that is beyond life and death. And then the part of the Great Mother that maybe you thought I was inventing that. No, Shariputra is saying it. She is known as the Great Mother by those spiritually mature beings who dedicate their mind stream to the liberation and full enlightenment of all that lives. So she is the mother of the Bodhisattvas also. Prajnaparamita is the mother of all the Bodhisattvas. The Bodhisattva ideal comes from her because she's the mother that hears the cries of everyone. So that's why we are Bodhisattvas. She's not marked by any fundamental characteristics. You remember that one of the important marks of the Buddha is that they have very long and very big ears. And I always thought, oh, forget it, I can never be a Buddha. I mean, maybe my ears maybe have gotten a little bigger with the years, but they were really small. But you know what? It's not true. We can have the ears however we want them. We can have crooked feet. We can have anything. We could be anything and be a Buddha or Prajnaparamita. This absence of characteristics is her transcendent mystic motherhood. I'm raising my voice to see if I wake up the ones that are sleeping. What should I do? Maybe I should go and do a dance in the middle of the room to wake up some people. She's not marked by any fundamentals. No, I do want that. This absence of characteristics is her transcendent mystic motherhood. Her transcendent mystic motherhood. The radiant blackness of her womb. Sometimes we need to enter into the blackness of her womb. She is the universal benefactor, or I think you said benefactress, who presents as a sublime offering to truth the unlimited jewel of all the qualities of Buddha, the miraculous gem that generates the 10 inconceivable powers of a Buddha to elevate beings to the awareness of their innate Buddha nature. So she gives us the gift of the 10 powers of the Buddha. We can receive these powers through her practice. And these powers are the power of knowing what is true and what is not. The power of knowing karmic causality at work in the life of all beings throughout past, present, and future. That's not enduring, that's my research. The power of knowing all the stages of concentration, emancipation, and meditation. The power of knowing the conditions of life of all people. The power of discerning all people's levels of understanding. The power of discerning the superiority or inferiority of all people's capacities. The power of knowing the effects of all people's actions. The power of remembering past lifetimes. The power of knowing when each person will be born and will die, and what realm that person will be reborn. The power of eradicating all illusions. Those are the 10 powers of the Buddha, so it's pretty much omniscience, not knowing it all. She can never be defeated in any way at any level. She lovingly protects vulnerable conscious beings who cannot protect themselves, gradually generating in them an unwavering fearlessness and a diamond-like confidence. I have a lot of confidence in her. I don't know if it's diamond-like yet, but I do have a lot of confidence. She is the perfect antidote to the poisonous view which affirms the cycle of birth and death to be a substantial reality. Hey, this is something, huh? This is something really deep. This is something that we all have interest in it. She is the perfect antidote to the poisonous view which is spread all over the planet, which affirms the cycle of birth and death to be a substantial reality. I am confident that I'll get there. I'm confident that I'll get there to the realization that the cycle of birth and death is not a substantial reality. I will see into the unsubstantiality of the cycle of birth and death. She is the clear wisdom of the open and transparent way of being that all relative structures and events share. Say it in a different way, she's just saying that emptiness is at the heart of all solid structures. That's what it's saying. We knew that, right? One thing is to know it, another thing is to realize it and to see it and to live by it. We're almost done, don't despair. Love is better. Her transcendent knowing never wavers. She's the perfect wisdom that gives birthless birth to all Buddhas. Everything arises from emptiness, and since she is Mother Emptiness, all Buddhas arise from her. The entire universe emerges from her. The earth emerges from her. All beings emerge from her. That is what birthless birth refers to. There is no blood, there is no labor pain, there is no earthly birth. Everything arises from that empty origin, empty but full of love, peace, and wisdom. And then Shariputra ends saying, and through these sublime enlightened ones, it's only Mother Prajnaparamita who turns the wheel of true teaching. That's not a small thing. But the most incredible thing is that the Buddha says, exactly, beloved Shariputra. It took me 3 days to give this. I gave 3 talks on this in Spain. So I did my best to summarize it as much as I could. But I leave it up to you. This is at the heart of Mahayana, at the heart of Zen practice, at the heart of the Bodhisattva vow, and how could we never, ever have known about this? It's unbelievable to me. But I'm glad you know about it now, and you can keep it in your heart and nurture it in your heart, and may nurture your life. And this love is available to all of us, and it's important that we know about this. 2,700 years or 2,500 years, 2,700 years after the Buddha hid it, maybe now we can receive it.